All right. Go back to 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. What is the perimeter?
The edge of something.
Around the edges of something, all right? Or it's not just around the edges. What is it the measurement of? What are we measuring?
The outside.
What about the outside? Somebody said it. Okay, what about though? Like if we're going to be...
The size of.
There's a word I'm looking for. A real life word. Not a math word. If we're going to go and we're going to put a fence around the baseball field, we've got to know...
Distance.
Thank you. The distance around something. All right. Perimeter always goes around the outside. Now, what is the quickest way to tell a 3rd grader how to find the perimeter of shapes? Add what? Add all sides. That's right. Add all sides. Now, why can we not find the perimeter of a circle?
Because it has no sides.
Because it doesn't have any sides, right? So when we're doing these problems, we don't call it perimeter because circles don't have sides. So we just give it a new name to make it sound a little bit swaggier. Okay, the word is circumference. Circumference, and it's just the distance or perimeter of a circle. It's the exact same thing as perimeter, but it's specifically for circles. Now, thankfully, somebody figured out from the video that you saw that there is a relationship between the diameter of the circle and the circumference. So, I do believe, Google me, but I do believe that a woman is who figured this out. She figured out that the relationship of pi between the circumference and the diameter that they showed you in the video. And so if we know how far it is from one side of the circle to the other, then all we've got to do is take that diameter, multiply it by pi, and that will give us the answer. So very, 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 very easy. But, and this is where some of y'all are going to mess up, boys especially. This is very easy, so you're not going to see the point in showing your work. But trust me when I tell you that I need you to show your work now so that as we get to harder problems, they're much, much easier. Okay? If you just throw this in your calculator, that's not helping you learn the process. And so when we get to the bigger problems, you're not going to know how to do it. Make sense? All right. So on every problem, you're going to write the formula. Every problem. You're going to write C equals pi d. What does that capital C stand for? Circumference. What does that pi, that Greek letter pi, stand for? 3.14. And what does the d stand for? The diameter. Good. All right. So here's what's going to happen. They are going to give you a picture. And they're going to give you, the diameter of a circle. It is a Pokemon ball. And they're going to tell you that it is 8 yards across. So in the real world, we could say that I am putting flowers around a tree. And then I'm going to put some rocks around my flower bed. If I know how far it is from one side of my circle flower bed to the other, then that can tell me how many rocks I'm going to need to go all the way around it. Does that make sense? All right. So do I know the circumference? Or is that what I'm looking for? Do I know it yet? So I'm going to put a capital C right underneath that capital C. Do I know what pi is? 3.14. Do I know what the diameter is of my circle? It is 8. And again, y'all, I know it seems silly to show that, but trust me, and it's going to make things easier down the line. And then all you do is multiply that in your calculator. 3.14 times 8. How big is the distance around our flower bed? What y'all got? And this is a regular perimeter problem, and so our answer is just in yards. 25.12 yards. All right, there it is. All right, y'all try that one. I gave you a circle, and I gave you the diameter is 15 inches. Make sure you write the formula every time. Everybody's work is going to look exactly the same. We don't know the circumference, so we're going to put C there. What is pi? 3.14. What is the diameter? 15. And they're touching each other, so that lets me know I need to do what to those two numbers? Multiply them. What is 3.14 times 15? So the distance around our circle is 47.1 what? Inches. Any questions on those two? No. Now, real quick, say it with me. What is the formula for circumference of a circle? C equals what?
3.14.
Pi. All right, this is how we're going to say it. We're going to say C equals pi d. Everybody say it with me. C equals pi d. C equals pi d. Okay, we did not make that up. Somebody discovered it. So we're not going to change it. Okay, we have to use that formula. We can't make it and change it just because we want to. So look at this one. Find the circumference if I give you this. Find the circumference. Now, what am I going to write down? C equals what?
3.14.
C equals what?
3.14.
Nope. C equals what?
Equals
Pi d. Do we know the circumference? No. Do we know what pi is? What?
3.14.
Now, this is where some people mess up. Do we know the diameter?
No.
Yeah, no.
Because it's
Yes, times 2.
You can find out from the radius. Because
But you don't know it
radius
yet.
times 2.
We don't know it yet, but we can figure it out, right? What'd you say, Chloe?
It's 6 times 2.
So what would the diameter be?
12.
The diameter is going to be 12, and that's what we talked about yesterday. If you know that the radius is 6, then you just double it. So what am I going to plug in for my D? 12. And so what is the circumference of my circle?
37.68.
27 point what?
37.68.
Oh, it would help if I could hear. Sorry, Gina. Ooh. 37.68. And what am I measuring in? Centimeters. Okay? Pretty easy. So even if they don't give you the diameter, they have to give you either the diameter or the radius. If they give you the radius, then you just double it. Are we good so far? All right. So now we're going to go a little bit extra. Part 2. Roman numeral churl. Well, that didn't do pretty. Oh, well, whatever. When they give you the answer. When they give you the answer, you have to go backwards. When they give you the answer, you have to go backwards. Okay, so on these problems, and this is really when we start getting into the test prep questions and the word problems, they're going to tell you to find the diameter and the radius if the circumference of the circle is 62.8. Now, we see the word circumference, so we automatically know we're going to be using that formula. What is the formula for circumference? What is it? Formula for circumference. Oh, no, don't want that. The formula for circumference. Come on. C equals pi d. All right. Now, in this one, though, they give us the answer. What is the answer? What is the circumference? So I'm going to put 62.8 right there. Why did I put it under C? Because it's the circumference. Now, up at the top it says when they give you the answer, you're going to go backwards. So instead of multiplying by pi, what are we going to do? We're going to divide by pi. And for some reason on these problems, I like to use the pi symbol instead of 3.14 just because I think it looks pretty. But when you go to use your calculator, you're going to do 62.8 divided by 3.14. So we've got 62.8 divided by pi. What does that give you?
20.
All right, now look, y'all, this is super important, and it's going to come into play way more later on in our geometry unit. 20 equals, what do we have left over on the right side of our equation? This is what you bring down, and that is going to be vitally important later on. So 20 is what? The diameter. So it said find the diameter. We've got that. So if the diameter is 20, what is the radius going to be? Halfway across. And there's our answer. You are so smart.